All right, guys, we're going to rock and roll here very shortly. A lot to cover on today's show. Today is the Thursday edition of the I Love CVille show. Lampo has opened for in-house dining for the first time in 800 days. They opened for in-house dining tonight for the first time in 800 days since COVID hit in March of 2020. So we'll talk about that on today's program. We'll talk about the trials, I want to say tribulations of 2022, Judah, but there hasn't been many tribulations here. And polio is now...
I'd say there's been plenty of tribulations.
What are the tribulations you're highlighting?
I mean, trials and tribulations are basically the same thing.
Okay, fair enough. There's been more than enough trials and tribulations, I should say.
Yeah.
Thank you. Holding me accountable there. Including now polio found in New York City.
And also Israel and the UK.
Yeah, dude. Monkeypox, now polio. So much to cover on today's program. We'll talk about the Fortune 500 list that was just released. Robot policemen. Literally, Travis Hackworth has sent us a video of policemen that are robots. We'll talk about that on today's show. We'll talk about Hanover County schools in the news again. In the last 2 weeks, I've talked about Hanover County schools more than Albemarle County schools. And how Hanover County schools are in the news for a swastika on a t-shirt. All those topics and more. Scott Aaronworth, welcome to the program. Give the show a like and a share anywhere you are watching. Hammer the like button for us, guys. We work hard for you, and the only thing we ask in return is you guys hammering the like button on Facebook, sharing the show on any social media you're watching upon. Only thing we ask. Thank you, Scott, my friend, for your support. We love you, King of Virginia Beach. Judah Wickower is our director. We can rock and roll when you're ready.
Quiet on the set.
Good Thursday afternoon, guys. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille show. Thank you kindly for joining us on a glorious Thursday here in Charlottesville, Virginia. We may be in Charlottesville and downtown Charlottesville to be exact, but we have a Central Virginia, Commonwealth, country, and worldwide audience at our disposal. The I Love CVille network is live on every social media platform known to mankind, and as we start the show, I see 5 states and 2 countries watching the program, and the fabulous marketer MJ Arquette watching in our I Love CVille Facebook group. So we're going to cover so much on today's show. We'll talk about 2022 from a macro sense. I'm going to ask you this question. How has COVID changed the economy and human behavior potentially forever and in ways we still do not know or still cannot comprehend or understand because we're so in the moment, we don't have this bird's eye, holistic macro view of where human behavior and tendencies are heading. We will talk that open-ended topic and try to unpack it for you, and our hope is you, the viewer and listener, will join us in this discussion. We will also chatter Fortune 500 companies. The list was just released. Here's a huge teaser. The Fortune 500, the Fortune 100 to be specific, very much benefited from the pandemic. We'll tell you how on today's program. We will also chatter 2022, the year. 2022 is the schoolyard bully that no one wants a part of. From monkeypox to polio now in New York City, to COVID, to used car prices being more than new car prices, and good luck finding a used car now, to new cars being on 6-month waits, to Russia-Ukraine, supply chain, inflation issues, highest inflation ever, highest levels of household debt ever, credit cards spiking 13%. Did I mention monkeypox? Did I mention freaking polio in the Big Apple, in the sewers? Literally polio in the sewers? Have I talked about housing and how it's the highest cost of living from a housing standpoint in American history? Have I talked that Brittany Griner, a WNBA superstar, is currently locked down in Russia because she had weed in a suitcase? Have we talked the Great Resignation yet and how people are quitting jobs and mom and pops can't fill them? Have we talked China attacking Taiwan? And has anybody, you see I'm passionate and fired up, has anyone counted how many times Joseph Biden has fallen down this year? By my count, it's roughly 113 times Sleepy Joe has tripped or fallen. 2022 is the schoolyard bully that takes your soccer ball, your kickball, and your basketball away from your game, looks at you and says, I'm taking the ball and you're not playing, and they actually do it.
I see it as more of the unhinged uncle, but
I don't have any uncles who are unhinged, fortunately. I do know that 2022 has been a big kick in the nuts. Can we say that, Judah?
no doubt.
I mean, good God. So much to cover on today's show. We'll talk about automated policemen. Travis Hackworth sent us that story from Danville. He's in Danville. The automated policemen are not in Danville, but we'll show you a video on what the future of traffic and ticket stops may look like from a police standpoint. Remember, the labor shortage is not just impacting restaurants and travel and airlines and hospitality. 24% of the Charlottesville Police Department is currently vacant. 1 in 4 police officers on the Charlottesville Police Department are currently not on the payroll because the spots are vacant. So much to cover, including Hanover County in the news on the I Love Seville show again, not because of gender-neutral bathrooms. Oh, no, 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 no. Not because of gender-neutral bathrooms. And the collateral damage, the pros and cons of gender-neutral bathrooms in Hanover County. No, no, no. This time, Hanover County, put it on screen. Put it on screen. And give me the thumbs up when it's on screen, please. This time, Hanover County, look at the screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Is in the news for swastikas on t-shirts.
Which is a little absurd.
Who in their right mind would have approved this t-shirt design? Who in their right mind would have approved this t-shirt design? Does this even pass the eye test of any kind for anybody?
I mean, to be fair, it's not a swastika.
I get it. But guess what? Perception is reality in today's world. Perception is reality in today's world, and this
Sadly.
looks like to me like an art teacher at Hanover County Schools has no idea what a swastika is and the significant damage that this symbol carries with it.
Unfortunately, because a swastika was not created by the Nazis.
I mean, I'm not even going to get into schematics when it comes to the swastika. What I am going to say is a public school system should vet t-shirt designs. And you know what the crazy thing is? Hanover County Schools were so proud of this t-shirt design, they published it all over their social media. Not only did it pass the eye test of leadership in the school system, it passed the eye test where they were giving this t-shirt to teachers in Hanover County Public Schools. But then they took it a step further and they decided to pound their chests and say, look at this cool shirt we made, and put it all over social media. All right, the lead topic. And Scott Aaronworth, Kevin Yancey, welcome to the program. We love when you guys watch the show. Carol Thorpe, the Queen of Jack Jewett, welcome to the program. Thank you for putting this Hanover County topic on our radar. We love when you watch the show, Queen of Jack Jewett. Travis Hackworth, hello. Kevin Higgins in Greenwood, the King of Greenwood, hello. Did I mention one of the best marketers of all time, MJ Arquette, is watching the program. MJ, what up? All right, so I'm going to offer a little theory on 2022 and the economy first. You pick it apart like Thanksgiving turkey, okay, J-Dubs?
Sure.
Viewers and listeners, offer your perspective. Here's a theory on what's going on. The COVID pandemic turned 2020, 2 years ago, into an epic human behavior, business behavior, spending behavior, social behavior changing year. We changed who we interacted with, how we interacted with them. We changed how often we go to work, and whether we work in our BVDs and our Fruit of the Looms and our bathrobes, or we put on a suit and we go inside to work itself. We changed how we eat, takeout versus dine-in. We changed how much we leave our house, much more likely to quarantine. We changed our gym habits, more likely to Peloton at home than to ride a stationary bike at a gym. We changed our happy hour habits. We went to grocery stores and took our clothes off in the garage because we thought COVID was airborne and on our shoes and on our skin, and we weren't allowed to wear our clothes inside the house. A lot of people thought that, Judah.
I'm not denying
A lot
that.
of people thought that, Judah. We changed how we watch sports and going to sports in person versus television. Hell, some sports didn't even allow fans in arenas during the pandemic. 2020 changed us. And much like the September 11th terrorist attacks in 2001, the full economic and society effects are still not known of how the pandemic and COVID have changed us. Americans experience death, family members. My wife's grandma, for example, died of COVID during the pandemic. My wife's cousin's father, pandemic, COVID, blood clots, died. Americans lost friends and family to this pandemic. They isolated themselves more than ever. They changed jobs more than ever. They quit jobs for no jobs more than ever. Illnesses have lingered because people haven't gone to the doctor because of COVID. They haven't gone to dental checkups or yearly physicals because of COVID. So now illnesses are lingering more than ever. Urban crime is up. Black Lives Movement became a reality. The destruction of Confederate statues all over the country became prevalent in news cycles. Social justice issues became more prevalent than ever, often leading to violence. During COVID and the pandemic, we had a presidential election where the losing side of that election, Donald Trump, refused to accept the fact that he actually lost. Remember that? During COVID? Donald Trump is still to this day convinced it's a conspiracy and that he actually won the election, and still to this day makes those statements. We had insurrectionists invade Congress with an angry mob mentality. All that happened in 1 year during COVID. People are dealing with PTSD and they don't even realize it. Trauma from dealing with all this crap and all these society and human behavior and professional and business issues. We don't realize the PTSD and trauma we have because we're still in the moment. People are fearful. They're feeling vulnerable. They're uncertain of what is before them, what is ahead of them. Harsh reality when thinking about their financial situations. Credit card debt has spiked 13%. Household debt for Americans is now over $16 trillion, the most household debt in American history. Consumers, Americans, all of us, we are not acting rationally right now. And how could we? In 1 year, all that crap hit us. The collateral damage of the pandemic is still to be determined. We don't know the significance of the Great Resignation. We don't know the importance or the influence of the work from home mentality.
Or the people no longer in the workforce because of COVID deaths.
We don't know that. Good point. Thank you. We don't know how automation is going to change things. Here's a quick take. Automating of jobs is going to impact the people on the financial margin way more than the wealthy. Automated jobs are going to impact people of color way more than they impact white people. How's that for a take? You disagree with anything I just said? I don't think you do. Older workers are continuing to leave the workforce in droves. Workers in low-paying jobs are demanding dignity and better work environments, but they're losing the leverage to make those demands as the labor market is cooling and cooling very fast. The leverage has swung back to the employer from the employee as massive companies like Facebook, Meta, Microsoft, Alphabet, Robinhood announce layoffs. Robinhood is laying off 23% of its workforce. Microsoft, one of the best companies in the world, is not hiring anybody. Zilch, zero, nada. Meta is telling its engineers, its highest paid labor, you better produce at a greater clip because there's thousands of people that want your job and we will fire you. We do not know the collateral damage of this pandemic yet, and we won't for years to come. Take 2022 alone. Let's do this in staccato fashion. Are you on a two-shot?
We are now.
What's the proverbial SHIT that's hit the fan in the last 7 months alone? 2022. Staccato fashion, back and forth. You want to rock and roll? Go
ahead.
first.
All right, we got Russia and Ukraine.
Still have COVID.
Yeah.
COVID's more rampant and more everywhere than it's ever been.
Supply chain issues.
Where's the wheat? Where's the fertilizer? Why are there still inventory on barges in the ocean? Have you tried ordering or buying a car, a used car? How come we got no chips for those cars? Why 2 years later can we still not produce enough chips for cars? Right?
Yeah.
Have you been to a grocery store and seen the empty shelves? Supply chain is still rampant. We have the highest levels of inflation ever, the highest levels of household debt in the country ever, and credit card debt just surged 13%. Judah, your turn.
We got diseases making returns and new diseases popping their monkeypox heads into places they don't belong.
We got monkeypox and now polio. Who thought polio was eradicated?
Everybody.
Who thought polio was going to be the way of scurvy? I never thought I'd have to worry about polio again. People are dying in New York City because of polio.
Not dying.
One person was
not
paralyzed and hospitalized.
Yeah.
Was paralyzed and hospitalized. Would you rather be dead or paralyzed?
That's a tough one. Unless you've been there,
I'll take paralyzed than dead.
Yeah.
Okay? Pretty straightforward for me. You can contemplate whether you want to die or live later.
Still not fun, but
Somebody got polio in the Big Apple from the sewers.
well, I don't know that they know that's where he got it, but they're finding
It's
polio
in the sewer system. He probably got it from water.
Okay.
I always take it to minutia.
That's because
Highest
facts
cost of
matter.
living ever right now. Highest cost of living ever right now. Housing assessments and taxes have spiked. Look at Charlottesville alone. 12% increase year over year on housing assessments in the city of Charlottesville. Try to buy a used car, you can't. And if you do have a used car, you got taxed 25% higher on average this year than last year. Brittany Griner just got sentenced to 9 years for having weed in her suitcase in Russia because she's getting utilized and leveraged like a political pawn by Putin in Russia to try to free up prisoners in the United States. 9 years for weed. Jesus.
Yeah, that's insanity.
Insanity. Fits with 2022 though. You got people resigning everywhere. Heard of the Great Resignation? People are quitting and they don't even have jobs. They're just quitting. How they're making their money? No one knows. Where they're sleeping? No one knows. Maybe down by the river. Alana, what did Jesus float down the river in?
What?
What did baby Jesus float down the river in?
Are you talking about Moses?
Was it Moses who floated down the river? What did Moses float down the river on?
I think it was just a reed basket.
A reed basket. Are people sleeping in reed baskets down by the river? How the hell are they affording lives if they're quitting? Answer me that question, Judah.
I have no idea. I think they've got friends and family.
Now China's going to attack Taiwan?
I think they're posturing, but you never know.
China's on lockdown. China's economy's in the crapper. Their real estate ecosystem's in the crapper. And now they're threatening an attack on Taiwan for another war?
Ghost cities and, yeah, China's...
I've counted,
what's going on
me
there.
personally, the United States President Joe Biden falling on his ass 113 times this year alone.
I'm not going to touch that one.
The president's falling down the stairs. He needs cue cards to be told when to stand up. And when he is doing coherent sentences, he's trying to rebrand and remoniker and reinvent the definition of a recession. What the hell is going on? This is like Seinfeld, Bizarro World, when they go to the diner and some people are sitting in their seats and it's the four people that look like Jerry, Elaine, George, and Kramer, but it ain't Jerry, Elaine, George, and Kramer. It's four other people. It's Bizarro World. It's Bizarro World. And you know the sad thing, Judah? The rich get richer while the poor get poor. You got that Fortune story open? Can you read us that first paragraph? Because they're trying to paywall me over here. Are they paywalling you?
Not yet.
All right, read that first paragraph in totality before that paywall pops up.
The rebound from COVID-19 created a huge tailwind for the world's largest companies by revenue. Aggregate sales for the Fortune Global 500 hit $37.8 trillion, an increase of 19%, the highest annual growth rate in the list's history. Walmart landed at number 1 for the 9th straight year, trailed by Amazon, which reached its highest ranking ever. Chinese energy giants State Grid, China National Petroleum, and Sinopec rounded out the top 5. For the first time, revenues from Global 500 companies in Greater China, including Taiwan, exceeded revenues from U.S. companies on the list, accounting for 31% of the total. The corporations that make up our annual ranking of the world's largest companies also reaped record-busting profits in 2021. But this year's turmoil has confronted the leaders of the Fortune Global 500 with a new set of crises, many of them political as well as economic.
Well said. And do you see why that paragraph alone, why China attacking Taiwan is concerning? China and Taiwan's economies and their productions matter to the global economy.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing we need is China attacking Taiwan when Russia's trying to beat up Ukraine.
Well, China may be taking their lead from Russia in the fact that nobody's actively helping Ukraine. They may be selling them weapons and defenses, but you don't see anybody actually going in there. And China is probably looking at that and saying, hey, now might be a good time to go grab Taiwan.
Here's the point. Danny O'Day, welcome to the program. Kevin Higgins, MJ, Travis, we'll get to your comments. Carol, we'll get to your comments. Grayson, we'll get to your comments. 7 states watching us on the I Love Seville network. We love your support and viewership of this fine and fair program. You know what struck me from the Fortune 500 list? This sentence: the rebound from COVID-19 created a huge tailwind for the world's largest companies by revenue. Aggregate sales for the Fortune Global 500 hit $37.8 trillion, an increase of 19%, the highest annual growth rate in this list's history. COVID made the Fortune 500 wealthier, more deep-pocketed, fatter profit margins than ever before. And they did it at the sacrifice of the mom and pops. The market share the mom and pops had was cannibalized and it was stolen. It was pilfered. It was swiped by the Fortune 500. And that's what happens when you make Target and Walmart and Costco essential, but you make the mom and pops unessential and close them down.
And it wasn't just the shops, it was the rest of us as well.
Yeah. What the hell? We should add that to the list as well. Here's the top 10 for the Fortune 500. Are you ready? Number 1, Walmart. Wow. Who do you think number 2 is? Who do you think number 2 is on the list?
Oh, well,
If
Amazon.
number 1 is Walmart, well, I know you read the list. If number 1's Walmart, who do the viewers and listeners think is number 2? I think Judah just told you, Amazon.
Well, I read it earlier.
State
just a
Grid
second
3,
ago.
China National Petroleum 4, Sinopec Group 5, Saudi Aramco 6, Apple, go Apple, a second largest stock position for me, Apple 7, Volkswagen 8, China State Construction Engineering 9, and CVS 10. You got 2 companies in the Fortune 10 that have China in their name. You got another company in the Fortune 10 with Saudi Arabia in its name. Now, granted, it is a global list. We'll get to some comments. Scott Aaronworth in Virginia Beach says he will be at Lampo next month. Scott Aaronworth also says Brittany received a 9-year sentence for a gram of cannabis oil. How freaking crazy is that? How crazy is that? And so many people want to say this about Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner showed prior to this Russian arrest, she often would not rise for the national anthem, show the respect for the national anthem prior to basketball games, and has spoken out against America on multiple occasions for not being just from a social issue standpoint, from a race standpoint. Now people are saying, oh, now she's begging for help from America, the country she was bashing, because she's in a Russian jail. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair at all. It may be a bit hypocritical.
It may be apt, but not fair.
Exactly. Maybe hypocritical, but not fair. She's an American. She got popped for cannabis oil, and Russia's trying to put her in the slammer for 9 years.
And now she's being used for political purposes.
As a political pawn. She's being used.
Yeah.
The whole point of being an American is to not be in situations like this. You're an American.
Well, I don't know about if I'd go that far.
What do you mean? You go to a foreign soil or a foreign country as an American, you don't have a little bit more swagger than other foreign nationals in other countries?
I would just point out how many people are in jail for marijuana in the United States. That's the only point I was making.
That's another point we need to well said. Bravo, Judah, let's give him some props. I'll give you a fair question. How can we be outraged by Brittany Griner getting sentenced to 9 years in Russia for cannabis oil, yet we cannot be outraged for all the black men in jail that were exploited and made an example of for some marijuana possession? That's hypocritical, and that's bullshit.
Yeah, and I'm sure many of them still are, despite our laws changing.
Exactly. So why don't we use the same momentum, the same fury, the same galvanized and strategic effort that went after the support of Brittany Griner and utilize that same effort to say, hey, jailing black men at 3-to-1 rates compared to white men when it comes to cannabis is BS, and it should be changed, and they should be let out of jail. Kevin Yancey, when there was such an uncoordinated response from the top, other than to say it was fake or the China flu, that's when the weirdness started. Danny O'Day swears that come this fall, monkeypox is going to be everywhere. Carol Thorpe says, she's the queen of Jack Jewett. Carol Thorpe, add the government refused to release the suicide stats for 2020 to 2021 because the spike in numbers would astound us to know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my God. I guarantee you.
I might be astounded, but not surprised.
I guarantee you the suicide numbers were higher than ever during COVID, with people isolating by themselves.
Yeah.
And having no one to check on them. And Danny O'Day said it was a reed basket. A reed basket.
That's what I said.
Yeah. I confused Moses with baby Jesus, though. Baby Jesus was much older by then. Baby Jesus was in the manger with the wise men.
While Moses was going down the river?
No, baby Jesus was not in the manger while Moses was going down the river.
I think they were a few years apart.
They were very separated on the timeline. Why did the wise men and the shepherds bring frankincense and myrrh?
The wise men brought it because they believed that they were going to visit a king.
Instead, they should have brought to Mary baby formula and food and some diapers to help baby Jesus. He's a baby. Bring her some milk and some formula and some diapers and some fresh swaddling cloths.
I don't think they knew they were going to see a baby.
Frankincense and myrrh. This is a baby. Get him some fresh swaddling clothes.
Well, to be fair, they soon after had to escape to Egypt, and that gold, frankincense, and myrrh probably kept them alive until they could return to Nazareth.
Oh, hogwash! Give him some fresh swaddling clothes and some formula, Judah. He's a baby. He's a baby. More comments coming in left and right.
I don't think they had the same formula shortage going on in Israel that they have.
Did they have formula when baby Jesus was born?
Well, you seem to think they did.
Did they have formula? Did you know? Because not all women can breastfeed.
Well, that's why they have nursemaids.
Okay. Why didn't the wise men and the shepherds help Mary with the breastfeeding? And get Jesus some clean clothes. Carol Thorpe, the Queen of Jack Jewett, for Judah, I had to laugh with you. Does baby Jesus floating down the river equal when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor from Animal House? Seriously, we love you, Jerry. Carol Thorpe, thank you. That was funny, Carol Thorpe. Where's the sound effect that's laughter on here? I know there's a laughter sound effect. Oh, there it is.
That's laughter? Sounds like a gaggle of chickens.
Oh, man. Danny O'Day, this is a good comment from Danny O'Day. On the topic of AIDS, I'm scared for our LGBTQ brothers and sisters with this monkeypox spread. Monkeypox is not an STD, and there are dozens of stories of folks getting denied a test because they are not gay. It spreads through any kind of physical touch, even staying on clothes and surfaces for days. The more we think of it as a gay disease, the worse it's going to be when it spreads through elementary schools this fall. Who bumps into each other more than little kids? And I hope I'm wrong, but I can already see all the people who are already calling teachers groomers to start saying that it's being spread to kids from gay folks. It's going to be very, very tough time and dangerous time for the LGBTQ folks in this country if that starts to be the narrative. That's from Danny O'Day.
Yeah.
Neil Williamson says Jerry's Sunday school teacher is shaking its head. Yeah, that was Wanda Sublett. Wanda Sublett is disappointed with me right now. I grew up Southern Baptist. I went to Sunday school every Sunday. I went to big church every Sunday. I went to, after program, it was like lunch after big church every Sunday. We had Sunday evening youth group, a Wednesday food, vacation Bible school, and Wanda Sublett, our Sunday school teacher, would be disappointed with me that I knew Moses it was Moses and not baby Jesus floating down the river.
You should be able to teach those classes now.
I could probably teach those classes right now, as long as you were there to correct me.
As long as
you were there to correct
Moses or Jesus.
Judah's, if you can't tell by the name Judah, who is named after someone in the Bible, he knows quite a bit about biblical tendencies.
I've got 2 of the 12 tribes of Israel in my name.
Carol Thorpe, this is hilarious, Carol Thorpe. Gold, frankincense, and Simulac does have a nice ring to it. That's the baby formula right there.
Yeah.
Frankincense and myrrh. Change Jesus' diaper. Give him some new swaddling clothes. You can tell men came to visit Jesus and not women. We'll get to the topics on the other pages here in a matter of moments. Let's get to some other ammunition for today's program. We're on fire today, folks. We hope you're enjoying today's show as much as we are. Travis Hackworth sent us this. Do you have the automated police?
Yeah.
Tell me when that's on screen. We do not need volume. Do not play volume with it, please.
I've got the volume off on it.
I'll talk over the volume.
The timer set.
Tell me when to go. It's on screen?
What do you mean go?
Well, tell us when the video is playing so folks can look. Folks that are listening on Spotify, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, this is your loss because you don't get the visual component of the program. Is it on screen?
All right, and 3, 2, 1.
Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Travis Hackworth, the King of Danville, sent us this. Is this the future of traffic stops? It's certainly a lot safer for the police officer.
Unless you've seen RoboCop.
No, that was funny. Notice how the police officer is talking to the car it pulled over through the computer screen on the robot. The police officer is maintaining safety in his or her car and communicating to the traffic stop person or people in what is almost like a Zoom screen or a Zoom environment with a robot rolling up to the driver's window of the car. The robot has a computer screen, and the police officer is talking to the people that they pulled over through a screen on the robot. Here is why I'm bringing this to you. Is it still playing?
Yeah.
Look at the screen. If robots are going to be utilized for traffic stops, of course a robot can fill a burrito bowl. If robots are going to be used for traffic stops, of course a robot can drop some fries into some grease. If robots are going to be used for traffic stops, of course a robot can run some food from a food line and an expo window to a table.
This is not the robot that I thought it was going to be, though.
If robots, dude, that robot's doing legit stuff.
Yeah, but it's attached to the cop's car, and he's basically controlling it. That's less a robot and more just an extension of his ability to act.
But it's the top of the first inning.
All right, there we go.
It's
We're back.
innovation.
We're back.
I
It is
understand
innovation.
I understand that this isn't as dynamic as if the robot was pulling the people over by the robot's self.
That's what I was a little bit worried
Okay,
about.
that's completely different. I totally get it.
Yeah.
If robots are pulling people over without human capital needed to control the robots, that's completely different. But that essentially already exists with traffic light cameras. The traffic light cameras are popping you without people.
Yeah.
My point, and I think Travis's point of automation, if it can be replicated, he says it can be automated. If you can do this at the traffic stop, why do you need people dropping fries in a fryer? Why do you need people working a cashier? Why do you need people serving ice cream? Or what else?
Well,
Working at the post office.
For the same reason that you said the other day that you don't go through the self-checkout line.
Yeah, I like talking to people.
Yeah,
But
and a lot of other people do
COVID
too.
is changing that. COVID has made a lot of extroverts like me less extroverted. And they've made a lot of introverts like you
May have made-
more introverted. I don't think I've diminished in my extrovertedness.
I don't think so either.
Okay. I think you have slightly gotten more introverted because of the pandemic. And if you were honest with yourself, you would agree with that.
What?
You've gotten more introverted because of the pandemic.
I don't think so.
You don't think you did less over the pandemic?
Just because I did less doesn't mean I've become more introverted.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
You stayed home more than ever before. That's introverted.
Not really.
You have openly told me because of the pandemic, you had less game nights in Waynesboro.
Yeah, but we still had game nights.
Would you do it via Zoom?
Yeah.
Via Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay, that is more introverted. You're interacting with people less in an eyeball to eyeball, real life standpoint.
That's not introversion, though.
You
That is not introversion.
not interacting with people in human real life and instead interacting with people over computer screens is less introverted. Or more introverted, excuse me. More introverted.
No, it's
Yes.
not.
How do you
You're misusing the word. It's
You're interacting with people via, okay, what do you call it then?
because
What do you call it then? More reclusive?
being introverted or extroverted has no there's no connection between how much you interact with people.
You were more reclusive. Are you going to give me that?
That doesn't mean I was more introverted.
Reclusive and introverted are in the same family tree. Reclusive and introverted are a branch over from each other on the family tree. In fact, the leaves and their small branches are touching each other on the family tree. Reclusive and introverted.
But forced reclusion does not affect
I wasn't reclusive during COVID.
what?
I wasn't staying at home during COVID.
Okay.
I was still out and about. I mean, I'm not giving you beef. or anything like that.
I didn't think
I mean,
you were.
you can do whatever the hell you want. It's your time. Okay? It's totally, completely cool with me. I mean, I got no beef with you playing Parcheesi over Zoom. I got no problem with you playing Monopoly over Skype. I got no issues whatsoever of you playing Scrabble over FaceTime. You do it, and you do it great. I got no beef with that. Lampo is opening for dine-in tonight, 800 days after closing at the beginning of the pandemic. 800 days later, Lampo opens tonight. One of the best pizzas I've ever had. Congrats to the Lampo guys for opening Esta Noche. And we covered the Hanover County swastika, didn't we?
Yeah.
You want to put that back on screen for everybody? Do we have background music going on here? Was the background music during the police video, Kevin? Did you play music on that? It says turn the background music down. I really hope you didn't do that. Neil Williamson is sharing the definition of recluse or reclusive. All right, here's the definition of reclusive. This is Neil Williamson, the president of the Free Enterprise Forum, and an all-around nice guy. I just saw Mayor Snook walk by. He's got very nice green pants on today, Mayor Snook.
It's good to know.
A nice button-down shirt that's blue and green pants. He's going to walk by this window right here in 5.
I can't.
There he goes.
You're the only person that saw him both times. For all I know, he's wearing red pants, and he's not wearing anything buttoned down.
You're saying he's naked?
No.
He's wearing nice green shorts, reclusive, seeking or preferring seclusion or isolation, providing seclusion. This is Neil Williamson's definition of reclusive. Withdrawn from society, seeking solitude, lived an unsocial reclusive life. This sounds like the definition of more introverted to me. Not seeking or given to association, being or living without companions, providing privacy or seclusion, wanting to be by yourself and not with other people. The last line of the definition from Webster says this: Jerry Miller is right. I'm just messing around.
No, that just points out the fact that you used reclusive wrong when you were talking about this.
Oh, gosh. Thank you, Neil Williamson. Let's go to the I Love Seville group that's blowing up over here. I think you did have background music on that video, J-Dubs.
I turned it off. It must have come back on.
It's fine. MJ Arquette on the group. We'll go to MJ. One of the best marketers in Central Virginia is MJ Arquette. She says, I could not imagine approving that shirt or putting it on social media if it got to my desk, if I had not seen it before. It's a hard stop. Exactly. Like, this is what I don't understand about the shirt. Okay, I can understand this, Judah.
I've got it on screen again.
Okay, the shirt's on screen. Look at the screen. Hanover County swastika shirt. Hanover County swastika shirt. I can understand if the art teacher saw this logo and said, okay, this logo's fine. As someone who has to do design and creative, we do this often in this office, sometimes you're so immersed in your own artwork, you don't have the holistic picture, and that's why you get feedback from someone else.
Yeah.
But once the art teacher designed the logo and started asking for feedback from her...
I think it's the definition of in the weeds.
That's what I'm saying, in the weeds. Sometimes as an artist or a creative, you get stuck in the weeds, so you don't get the macro picture, so you don't realize that your design or your artwork could be in bad taste or not what the client wants. So what you do is you take your artwork to a focus group that you trust. Our focus group is 20 to 30 people that we've utilized as a focus group for 15 years. It's championed and led by my wife. One of the things I love about my wife is she calls it honest, even if it's going to make you angry in the moment, but you appreciate it in the end. She will always tell me what she is feeling, no matter if it hurts my feelings in the moment. And I respect that, and I want that, and I appreciate that, even though it may zing me and hurt me in the moment. But this is what I don't understand. I understand that art teacher making the logo and not realizing it's a swastika. What I then don't understand is how it got through all these other layers of approval. The focus group, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure someone in headquarters or the front office, the superintendent's office had to approve this. Then it went to a t-shirt printer. The t-shirt printer okayed it.
Yeah, are you sure you want me to print this on a t-shirt?
No one at the t-shirt shop said, dude, this looks like a swastika, and this may get people pissed off. And then it went from the t-shirt printer, it was handed out to all the teachers, and the teachers put them on their bodies. They said, this makes my pecs look nice. Oh man, my beer gut's a little slim, a little slender here. Let me wear this shirt around. It's a blue shirt. Hey, look at me. And they start taking pictures and putting on social media and holding their chest out like this. And then the t-shirt goes to the Hanover County Public School social media specialist, and the social media specialist says, you know what?
Hold up.
No. The social media specialist put it on Hanover County Facebook.
Oh.
How the hell did it make it through that many layers of vetting before someone on social media said, hey, you're printing a swastika on a shirt? Seriously. MJ Arquette, watching the program. Let me see if I can get to that other comment, MJ. Man, there are a lot of comments coming in here. This show is live on 15 Facebook pages, 15 Twitter accounts, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. God, I'm out of breath. MJ Arquette says, is the robot still at 3-notched? I saw that as more of assisting servers with multiple trades, making their jobs more efficient, especially in a highly busy restaurant and or in an industry where there is so much turnover, and recently it's been very tough for area restaurants to fulfill those roles. Great comment. The robot is not at 3-notched X. I do not know if the robot server is at their Virginia Beach location, Harrisonburg, Roanoke, or Richmond. It is currently not at X location. My family and I are planning on brunch at 3-notch this weekend, so we'll have more to report to you on Monday. I also would like to partner with a local brewery, maybe a local cidery, hint, hint over there, a local winery, and make an I Love Seaville beer, wine, or cider. We will then drive our massive following to the cidery, the brewery, or the winery for people to enjoy the I Love Seaville alcoholic beverage. There's going to be no payment to us, I Love Seaville, up front, no payment to our VMV Brands advertising agency up front. How we will make our money is that we will get a portion of sales on the back end. That is win-win with whoever we choose to partner with. Win-win. Got nothing to lose there. That's called good business, Judah. Win-win. Kevin Higgins, the king of Greenwood. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but our country has never been more vulnerable. I think a national emergency is coming in the form of a massive cyber attack from Russia and China. The ransom paid to the hackers of the pipelines was just a test run for these computer terrorists. Credit card systems are going to take the hit. If that happens, people won't even be able to get gas or get home from work. A 13% of credit card debt being up, it's obvious people are surviving on credit cards. It's the perfect target. Who are we going to look to in a national emergency? America is the country that solves the national emergency, right? We couldn't look to ourselves. Kevin Higgins, great comment. There's no doubt people are surviving on credit cards and paying their bills right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's no doubt. Household debt is the highest it's ever been in American history, over $16 trillion. Credit card debt just surged 13%. People are living on credit cards, and the interest rate is floating debt tied to prime. And every time Jay Powell and the Fed raise rates, you have more interest on that debt on your credit cards. It is an ugly, ugly situation right now.
There's a great saying that goes, if you owe the bank $100, that's your problem. If you owe the bank $100 million, that's the bank's problem.
There you go. There you go. Ay, mi madre, chicos and chicas. What a day. What a day. Kevin Yancey says, is it possible for the Henrico or the Hanover people who are involved to possibly have never even seen the swastika?
Somehow I doubt that. But, I mean, really, this is not a swastika. It's facing the wrong direction, And as we've gone over, the swastika was not invented by the Nazis, though using a swastika nowadays is paramount to supporting them, I suppose some people would say.
I wouldn't say anything from a swastika, connotations or denotations are bad.
Well, it's still used by a lot of, I believe, Indian religions. Hindus, Buddhists, both use the swastika still. But, I mean, come on. I find it a little bit funny just because of the feigned outrage. I mean, how many people would it really affect even if it was
I find no humor in this. I find no humor in this.
I can find the humor in
These
almost
are the
anything.
people that are trained. These are the people that are educating our kids. If the common sense and the lack of judgment shown here, the lack of common sense and the lack of judgment shown here with approving a swastika t-shirt, these are the people that are teaching our kids.
Except it's not a swastika.
Judah.
Do you want me to put up a swastika on
No,
screen?
I do not want you to put up a swastika. No, I do not want you to put up.
I get the optics of this, but it's not a swastika.
The optics are horrible.
Yes. That doesn't change the fact that it's not a swastika.
And they put it on social media to make it even worse.
Yeah. And you can't laugh at that.
I poke fun at them, but it makes me concerned about the kids who are learning from these adults.
That's something to take note of.
In the last 2 weeks, Hanover County Public Schools have gotten more press and airtime on this talk show than City of Charlottesville, Albemarle County. Combined. Kevin Yancey says this: ask 10 sixth graders what a swastika is. What are the odds that half of them know what a swastika is? Was that Jay Leno on The Tonight Show that used to go on the street and ask trivia questions of people? Like, who was the first president of the United States? Or who is the current president? Or who is the current vice president?
Now that stuff happens all the time, though I think they usually pick and choose who they show in the videos. But yeah, I mean...
If we asked 10 sixth graders what a swastika was, or showed them a swastika design, would they be able to identify that it's a swastika? I hope to God the answer is yes. Carol Thorpe says this, and this is exactly how I feel. The design has enough passing resemblance that it creates bad optics. In today's political climate, that's a bad thing.
Like I said, the optics of it aren't good, but it's not a swastika.
The yin to my yang is not my wife. The yin to my yang is the jack of all wits, Judah Wickhauer. The yin to my yang, the cream to my outer cookie, the Oreo, it's not my wife. It's Judah Wickhauer.
I think you should quit while you're ahead.
Why? You didn't like my Oreo reference? The peanut butter to my jelly?
It's a little odd.
What do you mean it's odd? How's it odd? What's odd about it? Who's odd? I'm odd? You're odd? What's odd?
Let's just leave it there.
Okay. We'll leave it there. Anything you want to add that we didn't cover?
I don't know. Let me think about it.
Well, you got about 15 seconds.
I don't think there's anything I need to
You got
add.
about 15 seconds.
I think we're good.
Okay. All right, that's the talk show. We hope you enjoyed it today. We enjoyed putting it together. I want to stay positive because I'm a positive Peter. 2022 is going to get better. I swear it's going to get better. Whether it's the polio or the monkeypox or the COVID or the credit card debt or wars or supply chain or gasoline or Brittany Griner 9 years for ganja or used cars being out of control or Sleepy Joe falling down 182 times in 6 months. 2022 is going to get better. It's going to get better. For Judah, I'm Jerry. It's the I Love CVille show on a Thursday.